Hey, what's up? I'm glad you clicked on the video. Today, no, first let me introduce myself. You know what I'm saying? I am Jay, and we back with another video, bro. Today we gonna be looking at the best era of Nickelodeon. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and get it started, fam.
Nickelodeon is the most beloved kids channel ever, with only a few competing networks. All of those networks, especially Nickelodeon, has had their high points and their low points. I have already discussed in detail the lowest point of Nickelodeon, that being the decade of the 2010s, but it made me
Did you just put Sanjay and Craig as the worst era? Sanjay and Craig was tough to me. What y'all think?
realize it was really easy to pick out the worst
I'm
era of
close, Sanjay and
Nickelodeon,
Craig.
but not as easy to pick out the best era. When you look at the two obvious answers, the 90s or the 2000s, they both boast amazing shows, one after the other, but neither of the decades stick right out.
And hit for hit, who y'all got? Cartoons. Cartoons only. Nah. I can't do cartoons only because Cartoon Network is gonna win. But hit for hit though, I'm talking about live actions, all of it. Movies, movie originals. Who y'all got? Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? Fuck it, let's throw Disney Channel in there. Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney Channel. Who y'all got? Me personally, if we going hit for hit, this might be a hot take. But Nickelodeon got it, bro. I can't even like Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victoria. Come on, bro. You can't even argue that, bro. I don't know. Cartoon Network got a slight, you know what I'm saying? Cartoon Network up there. But we talking about hit for hit, everything. Nickelodeon got it again.
As the better one. Today, I'm going to analyze the 3.5 decades of Nickelodeon to figure out which one is the best. Disclaimer, I'm talking about cartoons only, because I have such little knowledge about most of the live action shows. Unlike my other
What?
videos, I'm not going into this one with a clear answer to which one is superior. I grew up watching both the 90s and the 2000s, despite growing up in the early 2010s, so I don't have a particular bias for either one. So first, the 90s. It is regarded as the golden era. It may seem like the obvious pick, but when you see shows like Jimmy Neutron and Danny Phantom in the 2000s, it becomes conflicted. The first Nicktoon is Doug from 1991. Can't
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know nothing from the 90s era when it comes to Nickelodeon. Me personally, my era was the 2010s.
say that I'm a fan of this show very much. I don't really like the typical ordinary life shows that are slower paced. If I'm going to watch cartoons, I want to watch something that doesn't really exist. Rugrats is regarded as one of the best cartoons ever, so this is definitely a point for the 90s.
Bro, right?
This show began to introduce the overall tone of Nickelodeon. This show began to teach the world that these cartoons weren't like the Saturday morning cartoons. Not only did this show change the course of Nickelodeon, but I believe it kind of changed the course of the entire cartoon world. And speaking of changing the cartoon world, Ren and Stimpy. It was the show that made parents really question if their kids should be watching this. Ren is super abusive to Stimpy, and the gross out humor was revolutionary, I think in a bad way. It hadn't really been done much before this show.
I ain't gonna lie, Nickelodeon had some weird shows back in the day though. Like weird cartoon, like Cat Dog, bruh. Cat Dog, nah, Cat Dog used to gross me out, gang. I ain't gonna lie. Mm, I ain't, I don't know if I was fucking with old Nickelodeon shows like that. At most, Hey Arnold, I think.
The entire theme of the show is disturbing. I watched most of it as a kid, and I definitely did not like the super dark parts. Personally, I don't think this has aged well, but this show is iconic to everyone else. Everybody knows Ren and Stimpy, and it helped pave the way for so many cartoons. Rocko's Modern Life, Cat Dog, and Angry Beavers are more amazing and iconic shows. They helped further mold Nickelodeon into what it is and what it would become. They were funny shows with humor that had yet to be seen in other cartoons. The fact that they had a show about a cat and a dog that were connected together really made you go, Wow, they really will make a
Yeah, I
show as
wasn't
wacky
fucking
as
with that.
possible and make it fantastic. The lesser talked about shows, Our Real Monsters, Hey Arnold, and The Wild Thornberrys, are still
What the fuck is that? The fuck is that? What is that? Ain't no way Nickelodeon. Well, nah, I ain't gonna lie, they had Dan Snyder. I'ma just keep that there. I'ma just keep that there.
fantastic. I definitely do not like Hey Arnold, but I am in the minority. Our Real Monsters did somewhat feel like they kept trying to make a better show than the last one and then failed with this one. It's a little too repetitive. Hey Arnold is like another Doug, the everyday life stuff that I do not like. The Wild Thornberrys I don't like because of the nasty Klasky Chupo art, but is overall a fantastic concept. The worst show of the decade is Rocket Power. Again, it's one of those
What?
typical life shows but with an extreme sports theme. This is definitely one of those forgotten ones. Rocket Power is just one too many of those ordinary life shows. And finally, releasing at the very end of the decade, SpongeBob SquarePants, the
Yo,
best and most iconic show ever made. I mean, maybe ignore the
facts.
recent seasons. I'm talking about the first season, because that was the only one aired in the 90s. That first season is the best animated content you'll ever see. Tea at the Tree Dome, Ripped Pants, Pizza Delivery, Home Sweet
Facts.
Pineapple, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, Pickles, Jellyfish Jam, Sandy's Rocket, SB129, Suds,
Let's just let's talk about SpongeBob. SpongeBob is arguably SpongeBob is the best cartoon of all time. I don't think nobody should argue with me with that. Like SpongeBob is the best cartoon of all time. Like I said in my previous video, I cannot go a day without making a SpongeBob reference. That's how goated SpongeBob is. Is that simple?
Do I need to continue? Looking at the cartoon side of the 90s, there really wasn't a bad show. Rocket Power is the worst, but even that wasn't horrible. Of the 12 shows in this era, only 4 aren't the best. But that means 8 of the shows are good, and some of those I would even say fantastic. SpongeBob was revolutionary. Rugrats was revolutionary. As much as I don't want it to be, Ren and Stimpy was revolutionary. In their own ways, even Rocko's Modern Life and Cat Dog were revolutionary. So the 2000s have quite the impressive decade to beat. This era has 16 shows, so a lot of room for fantastic stuff, but also a lot of room to suck. Before I mention the new shows of the decade,
Fanboy and Chom Chom was not trash, bruh. I don't think Fanboy and Chom Chom was trash. Or maybe it's just the nostalgic talk. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. I don't think I might have to rewatch Fanboy and Chom Chom, but I don't remember it being trash though.
SpongeBob has to be talked about again. For the first half of this decade, SpongeBob was still in its peak. More of those fantastic episodes we all love and remember came from this era. After the movie, it began to degrade a little bit, but still, the level of quality in those episodes does not compare to anything else Nickelodeon has put out. Starting off, not great, as told by Ginger. It's like Doug, it's not bad, and it's certainly watchable, just not really my type of show. The next show released was Fairly Odd Parents. Butch Hartman came in with this absolute banger. It never
Banger.
got to SpongeBob level, but it certainly was a close second. And then Invader Zim right after Fairly Odd Parents. It's a
Wait, didn't Danny Phantom come out before Fairly Odd Parents, or am I tripping? You didn't mention Danny Phantom. Or am I tripping? Did and this is also one thing. I never I never watched Danny Phantom. I never watched Danny Phantom. I know that sounds crazy, but I always was like, bro, Danny Phantom looks so cool, but I never seen it though. I might be the only nigga in the world who like cartoons and never seen Danny Phantom. I feel left out. I I might need to watch Danny Phantom after this.
Creative and sometimes disgusting show. Some episodes are disturbing in concept, but in actuality don't seem as harsh. Chalk Zone, yet again, amazing show after another amazing show. This show is not talked about very much. It has a great plot, and honestly is pretty comparable to Fairly Odd Parents in some respects, but it falters from genericness. After you've seen 10 episodes, it feels like you've seen them all. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Danny Phantom, two more fantastic shows, rivaling Fairly Odd
Seen
Parents
it.
for that second place spot for this era. Jimmy Neutron is another show very similar to Fairly Odd Parents.
Jimmy
Most
Neutron.
episodes revolve around
Goated.
a new gadget Jimmy has made, which really lends itself to infinite possibilities. Danny Phantom is more akin to a superhero show. There are tons of recurring villains constantly pestering Danny. Ultimate Enemy is one of the all-time best Nickelodeon episodes. My Life as a Teenage Robot, another really great show that was overshadowed by the other great ones. Again, it's a lot like a superhero show. There are episodes that are definitely better than the others. Some of them can kinda run boring. All Grown Up is the odd one out of this stretch of shows. It's Rugrats but grown up, and I can't stand this show. The characters lose their charm when they're grown up. And then after that one comes Avatar: The Last Airbender, regarded as one of the best animated shows.
That's up there with SpongeBob. Avatar is up there with SpongeBob. Avatar, I can't tell you how goated this show is, bro. Avatar was goated. I'll even go to say that the spinoff Legends of Korra was goated. A lot of people don't like Legends of Korra. I fuck with Legends of Korra. Um, the ending was kind of rushed, but Legends of Korra, for the most part, Legends of Korra was good too. Come on, y'all need to give Legends of Korra that, you know what I'm saying? Give it them props, bruh.
Ever. I can't disagree. Some of the most interesting, compelling, and awesome storytelling, period. And then halfway through this era, it starts to lose it a bit. There was a span of 4 shows that got 1 season, and I think all of them deserved at least a second one. Cat Scratch, The X's, El Tigre, and Attack of the Power of Juju. Cat Scratch isn't the best. The X's is worse. El Tigre is really good, and then Tack leaves a lot to be desired. Even though they weren't the best of shows, they should have gotten another chance to prove themselves. After that span,
I didn't know El Tigre had just one season. I remember I had the McDonald's toy. If you know, you know. I didn't know it had just one season.
another 3 shows got cut short with only 2 seasons. I say cut short as if it was a bad thing. No, it definitely was not. Back at the Barnyard, The Mighty Bee, and Fanboy and Chum Chum. Back at the Barnyard has its moments and is quite funny sometimes, but falters from lackluster stories. The Mighty Bee, I haven't watched much of, but I don't really care for it. And
Back at the Barnyard was good.
the dreaded Fanboy and Chum Chum. It ranks up there with Sanjay and Craig and Breadwinners. This show
Bro, stop, man, bro. Come on, bro. Sanjay and Craig is not bad, bro. The way he's sitting on Sanjay and Craig, bro. Come on, bro. Y'all gotta agree. Sanjay and Craig was not that bad. Fanboy and Chum Chum, I'm not sure. I don't remember. But for what I for what I remember though, for what I remember, maybe like I said, maybe this is nostalgia talking. But for what I remember, Fanboy and Chum Chum was decent. I was fucking with Fanboy and Chum Chum. Nigga, that's the reason why I fuck with slushies. Nigga, I used to get brain freezes on purpose. What y'all know about that, bruh? Maybe it's this the nostalgia talking, bruh. But I was fucking with that show, bruh. And the show was not that bad.
is 50% of the reason Nickelodeon is where it is today. And with that, just about rounds out the era. I don't need to spend too much time on this one, as I already have an entire video on it, which you should go check out. But I'll give a quick overview. The 2010s started out rough with the release of Planet Sheen, a completely unnecessary spin-off that relied way too much on unfunny humor. One mediocre show after the other. Tough
And you can't even lie. This is random. But Sanjay and Craig is the reason why I ain't gonna say is the reason why I fuck with Wings. But nigga, you can't lie. Sanjay and Craig, Wings did look good, nigga. Come on, bro. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Come on.
Puppy, Robot and Monster, Pig Goat Banana Cricket. They were watchable, but they were far from the best shows. Without a doubt, this decade has the worst shows from Nickelodeon. Sanjay and Craig.
I ain't gonna lie, yeah. Nickelodeon did start falling off. But Sanjay and Craig was only like, come on. Sanjay and Craig was like, I feel like Sanjay and Craig was considered a good show. It don't get its props, but it was kind of like it was kind of like regular show. But never, nah. It wasn't. It was. Let me chill. Let me chill, Nick. Let me chill. It was. It was. It was decent. But Nickelodeon did start falling off around this time though.
Breadwinners,
When it came to cartoon stuff.
and Bunsen is a Beast. These are all disgusting, poop humor shows that wanted to gross you out. Not a whole lot to like about them. There's an entire episode about
Maybe I want it disgusting. Pause.
Sanjay getting pregnant with a fart. Breadwinners was even worse. Bunsen is a Beast is the most generic show known to man. You've already seen the show before you've seen the show. There were very few good shows in this decade.
I forgot about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, bro. 2012. Stop playing. Arguably one of the best adaptations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, bro. Come on,
Teenage
bro.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, and well, that's about it. The flagship shows, SpongeBob and Fairly OddParents, began to severely deteriorate and lose quality. There was hope for the decade to be saved by their new flagship, The Loud House, but that got bad quick. By the end of the decade, the only thing really surviving was watered down, over-animated SpongeBob and repetitive Loud House. Fairly OddParents, along with every new show, was canceled before it could prove itself. Looking at you, Harvey Beaks. Suffice to say, this decade was a low point for Nickelodeon, and currently the lowest point. Barely any memorable shows. Terrible poop humor, dropping views. They didn't know what to do. Which leads us to the current era. Okay, I can't fairly say this era is good or bad because it's far.
I don't even know what's on Nickelodeon nowadays. I don't even watch, to be honest, I don't even watch TV like that. I don't know what's on Nickelodeon. But he was right, 2010 didn't really have nothing. Loud House was not that bad to me. I was fucking with Loud House. Loud House wasn't that bad to me. I didn't. Maybe it did get bad around the end. Like I said, I stopped watching it. I stopped watching TV in general. Uh, Sanjay and Craig wasn't that bad to me. It can be a little disgusting, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And then you had the mother shows, which were bad. So in 2010s was kind of it was mid. It was very mid. I can't even disagree. But now I don't even know what's on TV.
From over. We're not even halfway through, but it's not promising. It's clear Nickelodeon still doesn't know what to do. This entire decade so far, along with the last,
They got a Big Nate cartoons. See, this is how I know I don't be watching TV. This is how you know I don't be watching TV. Big Nate? Nigga, I only know Big Nate from the books. When this pop up? Am I missing? I live under a rock. I really live under a rock. That's crazy.
couple of years of the previous one are full of reboots, spin-offs, and licensed IP shows. The decade starts off with a pretty generic, it's pony. It's whatever. It's boring from the handful of episodes I've seen. There was Glitch Tex, which I have not seen, but gets tons of praise online. Middlemost Post, which is awful. Flashy animation, unfunny, and I don't think the concept is executed well. Rock, Paper, Scissors is a breath of fresh air. It has better episode plots and funnier sequences.
Rock, paper, scissors. Dang, niggas really lost ideas. Rock, paper, scissors, really. I I'm telling you, bro, I do not. I never heard of none of these shows, twin. I don't be watching TV like that, bro.
than most of the shows from the past 10 years. That's it so far for original shows. The amount of them isn't hateful. What is hateful is the overflow of spin-offs and shows based on other IPs. Camp Coral is quite the step down from SpongeBob, which already really sucks at this point. It retcons past episodes of SpongeBob, and in general doesn't really change the dynamic that much of regular SpongeBob. The Patrick Star Show is especially heinous. Why does this need to
Now I have heard about the Pageant Star Show, and I think soon as I seen like previews of it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start watching TV. This is the reason why I stopped watching TV. Pageant Star Show. I was like, but what the hell? Like, nigga, we really TV really going downhill, bruh.
exist? Patrick hosts his own talk show. The worst part is literally all the characters from SpongeBob are in this show. Patrick is a fantastic side character, not a lead character. Also, again,
Facts.
retconning episodes of SpongeBob and replacing his whole family. Nickelodeon, I'm gonna give you an idea. You ought to do a spin-off of this show and call
Like, I already knew, and especially like the newer seasons of SpongeBob are garbage. What makes you think if the views are going down on SpongeBob, what makes you think, oh, the views are gonna come back if they make a spinoff of Patrick? Nigga, we don't want to see that shit. We don't want that shit. Take that motherfucking shit on somewhere else, bruh. Nobody want to see that shit.
it the SpongeBob SquarePants show. Just make it as redundant as possible. The Rugrats 2021 reboot is again a step down from normal Rugrats. I've said this before, but the only positive thing from this is that kids today at least get a taste of past shows. Fairly Odd Parents, A New Wish, is definitely the best reboot. But I just don't understand. If you're gonna bring back every character, why not just bring back Timmy and just do what Rugrats did? And then the other category of shows, the licensed IPs. None of these shows make sense to me. Star Trek Prodigy, Big Nate, Monster High, and Transformers Earthspark are all shows based on other properties. Star Trek is the weirdest one to me. It does not
I might as well not even have cable. I swear I haven't seen none of these shows. Bro, that's how you can tell like streaming has taken over, bro. Cause like I don't, I don't even watch regular TV, bro. And I remember back in the day, niggas used to get picked on for having cable. Now, nigga, if you have cable, nigga, you getting picked on. Like if you don't have no streaming apps, nigga, you getting picked on. Back in the day, nigga, if you didn't have cable, nigga, if you didn't have that Xfinity, nigga, you was getting picked on, gang. I remember those days, bruh. Times have changed.
all feel like Nickelodeon. It's starting to look like Nickelodeon is losing its sense of identity. The older shows, SpongeBob and Loud House, need to end. SpongeBob especially.
No way, this is real. What the fuck? She just throwing her shit back on Plankton with Karen right there. What am I looking at? Is this new SpongeBob, guys? Ki- uh, kids of this generation. I- This is what y'all. This is y'all SpongeBob. Y'all be looking at fish throwing it back. No wonder y'all niggas freaky nowadays, man. What is this shit? Dan Schneider still in Dan Schneider still working for Nickelodeon? Is he still the head of Nickelodeon, bro? What is this? She throwing her shit back in a circle on Plankton. Y'all some freaky ass niggas, man.
Actually, they just celebrated their 25th anniversary. Not many shows do that. SpongeBob is no longer SpongeBob. The characters do not act like themselves.
Yeah, I can see. This ain't SpongeBob, bro. This is Freak Bob. What the? Cause what am I looking at, bro? I just seen a fish throw her shit back. I thought I'd never say that in a million years.
And the stories no longer have the charm of the old episodes. There has been such a shift that doesn't even feel like SpongeBob anymore. This decade is shaping up to overtake the 2010s.
Yeah, SpongeBob nowadays, bro. It's sad how it went out though. RP the creator, but like SpongeBob is just gross now. It turned into a poop show for real. It's like, bro. It's like this is why our generation is brain rot right now, bruh. Because they don't have good cartoons.
Title as the worst era. But I don't want to make any claims like that yet, because a show could come along that surprises everybody and fixes the decade. After the overview of all 4 of the eras, it's pretty easy to say that
I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna take one hell of a show to fix this era. And I'm claiming it now. This is the worst era of shows. I think everybody would agree, even people from this era. Like if they watch other cartoons from back then, they would be like, "Oh yeah, cartoons from back then were way better." Like nobody likes these shows, bro. It's gonna take one hell of a show. It's gonna take one hell of a show to just change a whole era. I feel like we've seen it before, but like is that's something that's hard to do, bro. I don't know.
2010s are the worst, and 2020s so far aren't the best. And it obviously leaves us with the 90s and the 2000s. Everybody that has clicked on the video,
But I'll say, if I were to say, I'd say what? Because you got Jimmy Neutron, you got what? Fairly Odd Parents. Would you put SpongeBob in the 90s or 2000s? Because it came out like 99. I'll put SpongeBob in the 2000s. If we put this matters because if we put SpongeBob in the 2000s, 2001. But if we put SpongeBob in the 90s, 90s one. I don't know. Let's see what you do.
knew it would come down to these 2. I have made my decision. The best era of Nickelodeon is the 2000s. I know it's sacrilege to say the 90s aren't the best era, but just hear me out for a second. Let's compare them show by show. The best show in the 90s was SpongeBob. The best show in the 2000s...
Okay, so he put SpongeBob in the 90s though, but 2000 still won. I thought he was gonna put SpongeBob in the 2000s. And now I'm like, all right, hold on.
was also SpongeBob. I think it's
Okay.
unfair to give all of SpongeBob to the 90s, because the 2000s spawned a majority of the top tier and iconic episodes. Let's just bypass that for a second. The next best, Rugrats, compared to Fairly Odd Parents. I definitely watched a whole lot more Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, same. I don't really know too much about Rugrats. I know Rugrats is goated, but I don't really know nothing about Rugrats, to be honest.
And only a fraction of Rugrats, but I still have a hard time seeing the comparison. For the sake of the argument, let's just say it's a tie, because the other shows will just further prove my point. The 90s third best show, I would say Rocco, but I think the majority would say Ren and Stimpy, so we'll go with Ren and Stimpy. The 2000s third best, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, is there
Yeah, it's
really a
up. It's up. It's up. I forgot about Avatar. Avatar is like the second goated show of all time on Nickelodeon. Yeah, it's up, man. Yeah, 2001. Off rip.
competition? Rocco to Jimmy Neutron. Okay, Rocco might win this one. Cat Dog to
I don't
Danny
even know what
Phantom.
Rocco is.
Danny Phantom is better. It's barely a contest. Angry Beavers to Invader Zim. Not a chance Angry Beavers beats Zim. Ariel Monsters, Hey Arnold, Wild Thornberries. Can any of them match up against My Life as a Teenage Robot? Maybe Ariel Monsters might tie, but Teenage Robot is better than
Thank you. On some Corey games and shit. Shout out Corey.
Hey Arnold and Wild Thornberries. I haven't even mentioned El Tigre or Chalk Zone. Maybe you don't think this is a good way of looking at it. Maybe you look at the 90s run of shows and the lack of garbage, and then compare it to the 2000s, and then definitely see the garbage. Fanboy and Chum Chum, The X's, The Mighty Bee. Yeah, those don't compare to the worst of the 90s. I have quite the sneaking suspicion that some people disagree with this, but I'm standing my ground. I think the
agree.
2000s are actually much better than the 90s. SpongeBob was at its peak. Game-changing shows like Fairly OddParents, Jimmy Neutron, Danny
Yeah, I agree with this take.
Phantom, and Invader Zim were airing. It had flaws, the most glaring being Fanboy and Chum Chum, but there are less worse ones being the X's, The Mighty Bee, and Tack and the Power of Juju. Even though I'm saying this era is better, we have to remember, without the 90s era, the 2000s era wouldn't exist. Thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe for more awesome content like this.
Hey, and make sure you subscribe to me too, man. You know what I'm saying? 12 subscribers, bro. We got 12 subscribers now. Hey, and I'm highly grateful. Why? Because it just shows my growth. And shout out to those, you know, those people that are subscribed to me, and want to see me grow. Shout out to those people. But I'm talking to the people that are not subscribed. If you made it this far, I mean, you might as well. I can't make you. I can't make you. You know what I'm saying? I can't make you subscribe to me. I can't make you. I mean, you can't hit that like button though. I can't make you do that either. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it only takes one push. You got you, and if you hit that bell, I'm not telling you to hit the bell, but if you hit that bell, you fucking with me. Nah, you fucking with me. Nah, you fucking with me a lot. I mean, shit. All right, y'all, man. I am Jay, and we out this joint. Yeah, dig.